So if you are a bass player, then you're pretty good. You probably can just play straight into Cakewalk with no problem. But if you are not a bass player, then you got to go about finding the right bass sounds to use on your current project. Now, SI Instruments does work great, but today I'm going to talk about using Landr. Right? If you're not familiar with Landr, L-A-N-D-R, this is a company that I actually discovered I think it was probably 4 or 5 years ago. It was the first company that I distributed my first EP with. And let me say this real quick. This is not a sponsored video. Landr did provide me with some FX plugins that I could use temporarily. It was only for like a 3-month trial, but they're not paying me for this. So it's just something that I feel that you all could use. You do not have to use this, but I want to give you all the necessary tools to get your job done so you can make your songwriting process a lot easier than what it normally would be. All right, now I'm actually in Cakewalk and I'm looking at a project that I just created. It's called a bass loop. So I actually went into Landr and I found some samples. I'm gonna show you those samples and where I found them at. All right, so if in Landr, first of all, there's different plans that you can do. Once again, like I said, you don't have to do this, but if you want to do it, I'll have a link that you can connect to Landr and go ahead and sign up for whatever you want to sign up for. You got the Landr Studio, which allows a bunch of different plugins. I've talked about Chromatic before. I've talked about the Landr FX Suite. If you haven't seen those videos, they should be in the description below. Of course, distribution, et cetera, et cetera. But you can get 100 sample credits a month. If you go to the samples, you can get 75 or 200 or 1,000. All right, $5.99 is not bad, 75 credits. That normally lasts a while. I also have Splice, and Splice, I've been using it for a long time, and I never use all of those credits. I mean, I'll download a few samples, but once you download them, they're yours to use. You can use them royalty free, so that way you can use it on your projects and release it wherever you want to release it to. All right, once you're looking at the actual main page at the top, now, of course, I'm signed in right now. You should see a part that says Create right in the left corner. And if you go to Plugins or Creator or Samples is what we want to look at, and go to Samples, you should see the option to download different sample packs, or you can download just individual plugins or individual samples. All right, so if I wanted to look for a certain sample, I can do the search up here, and I can search samples. All right, it's going to bring up the search. I can sort by instrument. I can sort by genre, type, whether you want a loop or one shot, BPM, exact BPM, the key that the song is in, you can do that as well. Or if I want to go for a specific type of sound or feel or whatever, then I can do that as well. So I'm just going to click on some of these things. Now, some of the stuff is very, very loud. So I apologize if it hurts your ears. But here's a guitar. Okay, and I can already hear like a fat beat to go to that. So you can take that sample and you can download it. You can save it. You can add it to a creator because you can actually create within here. Or there's a selector tool as well. But basically, I would download this. Like I've downloaded some of these other ones down here, electric guitar, kick, snare, hats, and then you just copy and paste them into Cakewalk. So I found this bass loop. All right, this is what it sounds like. And it's only, I want to say it's only 2 beats. Okay, well, not 2 beats, but 2 measures rather. So 8 beats total. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right. And it's at BPM 79 BPM. So I went on ahead and just changed my tempo to that. Now, if I didn't want to keep it 79, I could always speed this up or I could always slow it down. Now, what I did with this is I made this one clip. I made it into a loop. And let me show you how I did that. If you click on that track, so on the side, you'll see a part that says groove clip. And if you click the groove clip, all right, it will make it into a groove. Now, you might have to do a little adjustments with this because you might have to adjust the beats that are in the clip. Like if I do it now, Okay, you see it's kind of like real slow. So now what I did for this is I just made it 8, I think, if is what I did. And then that made it exactly where I needed it to be. Okay, and now once I have that clip set up, now of course you can do bounce clips if you want to do all of that good stuff. And now that it's right here, I can actually drag this out. And if I want to make it longer, I can make this as long as I wanted to. And it's just the same groove over and over again. Press Control Z again. Once I get finished with the actual project, then I can go ahead and basically render that or bounce the clip. But that's the bass line right there. Then I also brought in, now there was a few other bass lines I was going to use, but I just chose to use this particular one for right now. It is in the key of B flat minor, A sharp minor rather. And it's basically just going A sharp minor to B major, E flat minor down to D flat major. If you was going to do chord progression wise, basically like that. All right, so let's click on claps. Claps. Now this clap pattern was actually 2 claps put together, but I just went on and tapered it off because I just want 1 clap. It's like a clap and snap. This also came from Landr. I just downloaded it and put it in here, and then I can chop it up. Now I didn't make this a groove clip because all I really want to do is just add this where I needed to add it. And right now I'm just doing a loop, so I'm not really trying to do a whole song right now. But if I wanted to do a song, I can definitely copy in the arranger tool, which is a beautiful thing about Cakewalk, is this arranger tool up here. We have the snare, all right? And this snare is kind of like a rim shot snare, side stick. And like I said, the wave came as 2 clips, and then I just kind of edited where I want it to be. And then I have this kick drum, which is down here. Okay, and now it was just 1 shot kick drum, and I just went on and created my own pattern. Of course, I bounced the clips on this. I had to reduce the gain on this quite a bit because these samples are very hot. So look at where it's at. Gain is -4.8 right now, -4.8 decibels. So it was really hot. I brought that down so that way I have some wiggle room for later on if I want to do more stuff to it. Okay, all right. And the last part is the guitar part. Now this guitar part is funny because this is actually 2 different guitar samples I found, but they're both in the same key. They're both from the same type of guitar. But this one starts off. Okay, all right. So those are the first 2 chords. B flat minor to B major, B major 9 or B major 7, somewhere around there. And then I have this part, which I had to tune up. I think I tuned it up. Okay, no, this is what I did. I found another sample. Instead of starting on the B flat, it starts on the E flat. So it does E flat, D flat, B flat, B. So it's kind of like a turnaround, which is cool because then that worked because I was able to just chop where the E flat, D flat is and add that here. So when you listen to the whole guitar part, this is what it sounds like. Okay, now I know you're probably wondering like, why did I do these little fade outs right here? I can drag it over just a little bit. Well, anyway, there's this little chop that it does, and I don't really like that. Like right here. Okay, that was cool. I'll say that for the very end, but I didn't want it right there. So let me see if I. Okay, yeah. So I just faded that in a little bit more. All right, let's try it right there. And this one I actually don't have to fade out as much. Okay, and then I kept it at the end. All right. Now, of course, you won't hear chopping out quite like that when I got the whole groove playing. So here's the whole groove right now. If you're a person that you're not really, you're not really used to making music, you don't really know much about music theory or keys or anything like that. Nowadays, these samples could do everything for you, because you can find a key and you might not even know what that key means, but as long as you find a key and everything matches that same key, everything matches the same tempo, same type of groove or whatever, then you can make a tune out of this. And here's what the whole groove sounds like. All right, cool. And I didn't talk about the hi-hats. So the hi-hats, it's a sample that came from Landr, but it was like a whole hi-hat pattern. It was like a 4-bar pattern. And I really didn't like I liked the way it sounded. I just didn't like the way it opened and closed the hi-hats. I didn't like that segment, so I had to go ahead and edit it. So I brought it into complete control and I just chopped off what I needed and just used that. And then instead of keeping it consistent, I just said, you know what, I'll just have the hi-hat, come in, just cut off basically. If you enjoy content like this, dealing with tutorials on digital audio workstations, music performances, music tutorials, etc. like that, make sure you smash that subscribe button, kick that notification bell so that way you're notified every time that your boy JustDaNorm posts a new video. I love you all. Deuces.